Hello guys, my name is Prince and this is Smart Center. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Post your comments and questions on my social media handles and I'll respond to it. We are still on the topic bearings. In the previous video, we solved a question on distance bearing problems. In this video, we are going to solve another question. So let's look at our question for this video. A ship sails from Port R on a bearing of 65 degrees to Port S, a distance of 54 kilometers. It then sails on a bearing of 155 degrees from Port S to Port Q, a distance of 80 kilometers. Find, correct to one decimal place, I, the distance between R and Q. II, the bearing of Q from R. As we learned in the previous video, whenever you are being given a question like this, the first thing you need to do is to read the statement carefully and then draw an appropriate diagram for the statement. So, let's go over the question again. A ship sails from Port R on a bearing of 65 degrees to Port S, a distance of 54 kilometers. It then sails on a bearing of 155 degrees from Port S to Port Q, a distance of 80 kilometers. So we are going to draw a diagram to represent this information that has been given to us. So the ship started sailing from point R. So it means that our starting point is going to be Port R or point R. Now it started from Port R and it sailed on a bearing of 65 degrees to Port S. So our starting point is Port R or point R on a bearing of 65 degrees and the ending point is Port S, and the distance between Port R and Port S is 54 kilometers. So let's draw the diagram for this first part. So you are going to consider for this first part, then after that you consider the rest. Okay, so the ship started from Port R. So you draw our X and Y plane here, then we indicate here as R or Port R. It started sailing on a bearing of 65 degrees. So we measure 65 degrees from 0. So here's the 0 line. Don't forget that. Here is 0 degrees. Here is 90. Here is 90 degrees. Sorry. Here is 180. Oh, sorry. And here is 270. Okay, so here is 0, 90, 180 and 270. So it started on a bearing of 65 degrees. So it started from 0 here, 65 degrees. Then you draw the line through it. It started from Port R to Port S. It started from Port R to Port S. Now the distance between Port R and Port S is 54 kilometers. The distance between Port R and Port S is 54 kilometers. So the ship started sailing from Port R on a bearing of 65 degrees to Port S, and the distance between Port R and Port S is 54 kilometers. So we are done with the first part. Let's go on to the second part. It says that it then sails on a bearing of 155 degrees from Port S. So for the second part of the journey, it started from Port S. That is why I've drawn the X and Y plane on Port S. So this ship started sailing in the second part of the journey. It started from Port S to Port Q. So the starting point is Port S. The ending point is Port Q on a bearing of 155 degrees. So you are going to measure 155 degrees from Port S. We know that also on Port S, here will be 0, here is 90, Here is 180. Here is 180, and here is 270. Now we know that 155 is between 90 and 180, so it's going to be in this region or in this quadrant. Okay, so you ask yourself, what should you add to 90 degrees in order to get 155 degrees? And you are going to get that by subtracting 90 degrees from 155, as we've been doing all along. And when you do that, you see that you are going to get 65 degrees, because 65 degrees plus 90 degrees will give you 155 degrees. So it means that you are going to measure 65 degrees from 90 here in the clockwise direction. Then you draw your line through it. As I said in the previous video, make sure that your diagram is appropriate. We know that from 90 to 180 here, the total angle is 90 degrees. 65 degrees is more than half of 90 degrees. So draw something that represents more than half of 90 degrees. You are not going to get it accurately because you are not drawing it to scale, but make sure that your diagram is appropriate. So 65 degrees is more than half, it must be shown that it's more than half. So you draw something that is about 65 degrees. Then you draw your line here. The starting point is S and the ending point is Q. Now you see where the arrow is moving towards, showing that it started from S to Q. So in the first part of the journey, it started from R to S. Then the second part of the journey, it started from S to Q. So you have been able to illustrate this information here on the diagram. It says that from port S to port Q, a distance of 80 kilometers. So from port S to port Q is 80 kilometers. Once again, on this diagram, you can see that from R to S is 54 kilometers. From S to Q is 80 kilometers. So make sure that the 80 kilometers is longer than 50 kilometers, because 80 kilometers is longer than 50 kilometers. So don't draw them as the same length, or don't make the 54 kilometers longer than 80 kilometers. When you do that, your diagram will be inappropriate and it's going to affect the answer that you are going to get. The question goes on to say that we should correct to one decimal place the distance between R and Q. So the question wants us to find the distance between R and Q and the bearing of Q from R. Unfortunately, our time is up for this video. So see you in the next video where we will continue solving this question. Bye bye.